Check out carmarshal.com. The link is in the description. They help support us.
Hello, this is Shadowfoot once again, and I'm going to have to tell you guys this is not going to be a pleasant video at all. I'm sorry if you guys hate long ranty videos, but this is very important. Now, a couple things I'm going to have to touch on before we get into anything is there was several claims made later on in the video that I'm going to address immediately. As some followers of my channel may know, I used to belong to an organization called COPBLOCK. COPBLOCK.org is a human activist group that believes firmly that badges do not grant extra rights. I originally joined COPBLOCK because I had a single run-in with a deputy that was abusive towards me. I became inactive whenever I found most city cops were extremely nice. The other more significant group that I've been associated with is Anonymous. Anonymous is the world's most powerful activist group. Although they have many specialties, imagine them as a modern-day Robin Hood or freedom fighters. They primarily focus on finding corruption wherever it may be and destroying it. They've been responsible for exposing corrupt business practices, shutting down child pornography sites, exposing members of the Ku Klux Klan. They have taken down anti-equality groups, and much, much more. Their primary focus is to protect everyone's freedom, no matter who or what tries to take it from us. And who doesn't want to be part of a group that values protecting your rights and freedom? It's worth knowing that by simply showing the corruption that happened in my particular case, I'm making myself a huge target. The reality of the situation is I stumbled across the corruption in my county that goes deep. After this video is released, I could be in significant danger. But regardless, it's important that everyone knows what really happens out there. So this story starts with Pan destroying my truck. And for the sake of speed, I'll try to clip the most I can without taking away from the story. I will, of course, be posting a full video if you're interested in watching the about 50 minutes worth of footage. It's worth noting that other than some overlays and usage of picture-in-picture, the actual footage is completely unmolested. The audio has been balanced and amplified for the sake of being able to hear it, and subtext was added so that way you can, pause and see what's being said. So now I got the basics out of the way, let's speed things up a little bit. So, he wrecks my truck into Glatfelter's building, specifically just some pulling. Then to fast forward a little bit, obviously the police were dispatched very quickly.
Go ahead. Police, this is the Glatfelter building. If you will 19 their security just to get him down here. Hey, what is... Oh!
Okay, is this your truck? Is this your truck? Okay, well relax. I can't understand you when you're this upset, okay? You're alive, so your car's not important, okay? Alright? Just relax so I can talk to you.
Here, I brought you a can of pop to see if that'll...
Okay. Will this help you? Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm
Did
fine.
you hit your
the
head?
Truck still runs.
Did you hit your head or anything? Okay. Can you call somebody? How old are you?
I'm 28.
Okay, can you call somebody? Do you live with somebody?
Yeah, I do. I'm just trying to call him, but he's in another call right now.
He's at a different call?
Yeah.
Who is he?
I call him Shadow.
Okay.
He's
Is he just a good friend, or?
yeah.
Okay. Alright.
At least I didn't completely destroy the thing. That's what I care about. It
Yeah.
still runs and everything.
So what?
It's still running after the impact.
Yeah, so what happened?
I was trying to hurriedly get into work. My drink spilled. I tried to pick it up, and I just turned too hard.
Okay.
I'll fast forward through most of this because this is just asking basic information. Who are you? Where are you at? Where are you from? Where are you going? Very simple, routine cop stuff. So far, absolutely no problems in the regular traffic stop, but they did have about 6 or 7 minutes to do all their due diligence throughout this quick fast-forward time-lapse type thing. Of course, as you can imagine, Pan is very emotional because he had his first wreck and destroyed a truck.
Unit 58.
Is this your guys' building?
Sir, am I okay to send a
Hey.
unit to the
Good.
county line?
Is this your guys' building?
County line,
Okay. Well, it looks like just the rail is pulled out the wall, but I just want to make sure you guys are aware. And
She's down there crying.
yeah, yeah.
Is she mentally stable?
It doesn't seem.
You got
Completely
your,
there.
Yeah, you got your
So,
elbows out there.
Yeah.
Alright.
Wait, should a cop really be talking to other people about mental stability?
So if you guys want to,
We'll just get a report from you.
okay. You guys have your insurance? Do you know what insurance you got?
We don't have insurance. We're self-insured.
Okay.
Important note here, they're self-insured, meaning they don't have insurance, meaning they fix all their own stuff.
So you don't have to worry about that.
Okay. Let me get you the port number before you leave.
I just got the notification and I was on my way out to the accident to claim my vehicle. It's also critically important to note that I normally open carry a firearm. I have a concealed carry license, but in the state of Ohio it's 100% legal to open carry a firearm. So I'll fast forward until I arrive. During this quick time lapse, what's happened is they ran my plate information, they asked Pan what they wanted to do with the vehicle, he said he wanted to drive it out of the area, and Pete Shaw came up and said that it can't be moved because there's a piece of plastic inside the tire. I quickly left and arrived soon after, and it picks up from there. So from this point forward, I shouldn't need to do any more time lapses, but there is several things to pause and look at.
Coming through here.
Coming straight across from 7?
Coming from paint, turning on to 7. Or 8th.
8th.
And he spilled his drink and lost control pretty much.
So at this point, I just arrived and I'm walking up with action cam in hand. It is very important to notice right here on my right side that you can clearly see a silhouette of my firearm casted from the shadows. Also right here, or a more cleaned up version here.
Hello, you the owner?
Yeah.
Do you have insurance? Well, that's good. That's good. I'm proud of you.
So who got hurt?
Nice. Yeah, he's not. He said he's not hurt. He said he's okay.
It's fine, but mentally, just like, my day.
You have insurance in here or on
Yeah,
you?
but unless Gladfelder's buying insurance, they shouldn't need it.
Well, for the report, I need it. So Gladfelder is self-insured. So I need a report because you hit a building here. He hit a building, so that's why I need insurance. If you don't have it, that's fine. I'll just document you don't have it.
I don't have it on me at the moment. At least I don't think I do. I don't think it's in the glove box.
Is this your vehicle?
Will you see if it's in the glove box for me so we can get all the information we need? I got a tow truck coming for the truck. James.
Cancel any inbound or tow traffic.
Hey, James.
James.
Hey, James.
Just cancel any inbound or tow traffic.
James.
Hey, step over
Step over this way.
Get a picture. All right.
I'll be here forever. Well, no. Well, they're taking it. Well, yes, they are.
I don't figure you better.
I can't leave it here forever.
It didn't happen.
No, we'll just put it in the parking lot right over there. No, I can't drive it. That's what I'm saying. We need a tow from here. The spring was in that tire. Yeah. That's towing. Okay, but I'm going to have it sent to somewhere else instead of your impound box. It's not going. They are impound.
It may just be me, that seems like a substantial amount of attitude for just asking him to cancel a tow truck.
I just need to remove from the vehicle from the street. Right. Who did you request?
Just no preference.
So you want AAA?
Yeah, through AAA.
Well, vest, but your AAA will take effect later. Yeah, vest is.
58 headquarters.
Good.
31.
Everything left you from there now.
Get back on the phone, cancel real quick so you get that sticker vest here.
So the officer waits until I'm out of earshot and then cancels the tow truck and orders another one. But his entire argument was that he had one on the way already, but refused to cancel it for me so I could call AAA.
Copy.
13 there.
Go ahead. Right, on Blackwater there.
Morning, 7 headquarters.
Go ahead.
Take care of your lobby traffic.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Oh, it's not in there.
They need to prove it, otherwise it's going to mark the phone.
No, it's just not documented.
What's that?
It's just not documented. Shouldn't be a problem either way because it wasn't a vehicle-on-vehicle accident. And if they're a self-insured company, then
You gotta have insurance. To be able to
I have insurance.
Okay, you
Just
gotta prove it. You gotta prove it.
I can get it.
Otherwise, they're going to suspend your license.
I'm going to switch my license. Right?
No, that's you're the vehicle owner.
I'm a vehicle owner, but that's if it goes into an insurance claim.
It is going into an insurance claim. I'm sure they'll claim it.
If they're a self-insured company, who would they claim it to? And on top of that, I didn't know it at the time, but they didn't want anything to do with claiming insurance because they are self-insured. So why would the police department need to get insurance when neither party wants to do any insurance claims? Also, how do I give you auto insurance information from AAA when I don't have the papers on me at the moment?
Okay. I'll cross that bridge when it happens.
Well, Mark has none, so.
Oh, you just mark it as not documented.
Do what?
You just mark it as not documented. Like
Yeah, with Mark it has no insurance shown.
I've shown insurance before in the previous.
So it has to be now.
What part of I don't have it on me at this exact moment didn't you understand?
You can call AAA.
58.
AAA don't do anything for insurance. I gotta have proof.
Hold on, officer. You're telling me AAA doesn't do auto insurance? Let me Google this really quick. Yeah, I think you're wrong there, officer.
Yeah.
Best views of your turn around, sir.
That's how I have with me right now.
It has to be done by the end of the shift. Okay?
I'm sure documents can be amended later.
I can tell you, I run the shift. It's not going to happen. I mean, you want to sit and argue with me about it? I can tell you, it's not going to happen.
I wasn't behind the wheel, so there's no argument to be had. So.
It's your vehicle.
Yeah, pole.
What's that?
I mean, apparently something happened between him and this pole. I don't know. So I'll look at the dash cam footage later.
Hello.
So I wanted to point out that you can clearly see my firearm on my side right here. And in addition to that, if the officer was technically stopping me and investigating me, then his communication would have stopped whenever he left and broke off all communication with me. At this point, I don't consider myself being detained, stopped, or questioned by police. That engagement has ended. Nor at this point was I being investigated for anything or considered a criminal. At this very moment, I am a complete citizen just standing around with absolutely no police engagement.
go down to me, safer and safer.
Is that a no on that? Pete.
Let's see here. Yeah. Skip, please. I'm open carrying right now. You weren't. Yeah, I haven't. You weren't. Let me see your permit. I have been open carrying. Okay, either that or I put you in cuffs, 1 or 2. So you weren't when you walked up here. I got on camera.
No, it was completely uncovered.
This is where things go bad. The officer doesn't ask who I am or ask to see my identification, but specifically wants to see a concealed carry permit. Although Ohio does have a stop and identify law that pertains to if you're suspected of committing a crime, and specifically your identity, not a permit. Not to mention, the most important factor is that as citizens of the United States, we have the right to bear arms. With that, Ohio State is also a open carry state. This is an example photo of how I was set up on that exact day, taken by a good camera. I'll go ahead and show you the entire incident and then comment on it.
2. So you weren't when you walked up here. I got on camera.
No, it was completely uncovered the entire time.
I see your permit, please.
Oh my goodness.
Make it easier, make it hard.
What's your problem, bro? This is just an auto accident.
That's not.
Okay. And you're carrying a weapon that wasn't concealed there just a minute ago. So you can either tell me or I can put you in cuffs.
It was fully out in the open.
Let's just do this.
I'll show you.
No, it's
Stop playing around.
Just relax. Hey, put your hands behind your back. Put your hands behind your back now. Behind your back.
Read this. You understand me?
Relax. No, you're going to relax. You're in cuffs now.
What I do?
You're going to relax. You need to cooperate with us. This is a simple crash and you're making it worse. So now you're in cuffs. You're going to relax. You want to take that and secure it for her. Anything else on you? Knives, anything like that. Other guns.
Lucky didn't shock.
This one's going to take a little bit longer to go through. At this point, I'm trying to negotiate with the officer as best I possibly can. His last sentence before putting me in cuffs says, "You can either tell me or I'm putting you in cuffs." I tell him it was fully out in the open, and he still arrests me. So to be completely fair, I'm going to put the police report on screen from the officer himself. So one of the primary claims in his report is that I had the firearm concealed whenever I arrived. The police body cameras are pretty bad quality, but after isolating the shades of black on my person, I was able to isolate the color of the gun specifically. But the question is, where is Pete Shaw's body camera footage? So the answer to that is they never handed it to me, and it was lost. And the footage I did receive was long after I was arrested. So at this moment of recording, I still have yet to receive that footage. And I think we all know exactly why we don't have any of his footage. So despite only having 2.5 seconds to put my hands behind my back, I'm hit in the mouth, partially suffocated, neck is twisted in unnatural positions, and then he tries to break my neck. And if you read his report, it's definitely not consistent on what actually happened. What's even more scary is the reasoning why. This clip comes from Shaw's body camera long after I was arrested, when he couldn't resist bragging to the tow guy.
He said he spilled his pop. He wasn't paying attention to when. And then the registered owner shows up, he starts talking, and he's being difficult. He said, "You guys don't have to tow it, I'll drive it out of here." I said, "You can't drive it out of here." I said, "That frame, or in that tire, not the frame, but the components." I broke it loose. Yeah, and I said, "You can't drive it out of here." Yeah, I said, "Where's your insurance information?" "I don't have it on me." I said, "Well, you're required to show insurance information." He goes, "Well, they're self-insured. They ain't going to have to worry about this." I said, "I don't care about that. I want your insurance information. You're required to show it for the report." Well, he never showed that. And then I see him lift up his pants, or his whole like this, and he shows his gun like this. I said, oh, okay, where's your permit? Let me see your permit. I got a permit. I don't have to show it to you and stuff. I said, let me see your permit. Let me see your permit. Oh, I don't have that. I said, last time, let me see your permit. Went around, boom, we went up against the car, cuffed him, he's in there. I'm not going to tolerate that. He's one of these anti-government guys.
Oh, is he?
Yeah. He's got that anonymous card in his pocket. Anonymous, they're the big online website people that hate cop haters and law enforcement haters and government haters.
Officer, do you know if this jury suite has got an ATM?
I'm sorry?
Do you know if this jury...
So to be honest, I have no videos out there on my webpage or on YouTube that specifically bashes cops. I talk about in a couple videos about, there is police accountability as well as self-accountability. Not once have I ever said I'm anti-government or anti-cop. You can check for yourself. I never had a need to have that kind of content on my webpage basically until, well, now. In addition to that, Shaw seems to be extremely prejudiced against me, and I have no idea why. And also from some very quick research on Peter Shaw of the Chillicothe Police Department in Ohio, I have found claims that he's been racist and he's been prejudiced many times before. But the truth of the matter is, I get along with most police. I agree with almost most of police activities. They're there for a reason. In fact, if you look at my webpage, I have had several instances with cops that have actually been good, including having cops dance around my motorcycle in the Solar Bear Challenge. There's no reason that cops should hate, and they do. Here's another clip that also proves that for some reason there's a consensus and a hatred towards specifically me that they're taking prejudice off of. And probably not just me, but also Anonymous and COPBLOCK, and for no good reason.
This guy has a website.
Huh?
It's a website bashing the police.
Yeah.
That's why he doesn't like us.
Oh, no, he's got an anonymous card in there.
Yeah. He almost got charged with...
Where he hates cops.
He identified, he used to have a badge, and he identified as a security officer. Until he was strongly suggested not to do that. Where's his... Is that AAA? Tell me.
So she is right about only one thing in there. I did carry a badge. Although it wasn't a security badge, it was a EMS badge. I work on the side when I can in the medical field. The other one is Shiny Badges Don't Grant Extra Rights badge. And I'm also an NRA certified training instructor for firearms and range safety. But regardless of just standing around and getting harassed by the police and then abused and assaulted, it continued long after that.
There's real no excuse once someone tells you in uniform to give up your gun or show a permit.
You
do
have to
it.
give up the gun.
Regardless, you give it. You come on scene, you're required to tell us that you have it concealed.
It wasn't concealed, it was completely
Yes, it
open.
was.
It was concealed. I didn't see it. He didn't see it. It's concealed.
I had it open.
Regardless, cooperate or not. Okay?
Okay, I'm cooperating.
Let go of that.
Please don't twist my arm. There's no need to at the moment, okay?
There's a need because you're not cooperating.
I am
so.
cooperating. I'm against
Now,
here.
after we had to put hands on you, you cooperate. That's too late, okay? So
I said that
just relax. We'll get all this stuff out of here, and we'll check you, and you're going to have a seat in the back of my car until I get finished with this simple crash.
So Monique's side is do what we want or else. And not sure if you noticed that, but Shaw continued to twist my arm long after he had the camera out of my hand and continued to inflict pain just because he didn't like me.
Yeah, I said it's a simple crash.
It is a simple crash, but you're making it worse because you have a gun.
I did not use anything. You
Doesn't
have guns
matter.
too. I mean,
So I'm making it worse just because I'm a law-abiding citizen with training, standing around, not menacing, and I happen to have a gun. So therefore I'm automatically making everything worse. Hope you're listening to this, NRA, and every other law-abiding citizen out there.
You have to. You're required by law. Okay?
yeah, I was
All right.
going to show. I
So
did
there's no argument about it. You're required by law. Instead of just showing it, you want to argue, and that's why you're
I
in
didn't want
cuffs
to put
now.
my hands in my pocket if you thought I had
No,
weapons.
you can explain that. You didn't explain that. What you did is you got quiet,
I got quiet, yes.
and you didn't do anything when we were asked you to do something. So
My car just got broken. I froze up a little bit. Sorry about that.
well, no need to apologize. Just next time when someone in uniform tells you to do something, do it. Simple.
I'm just freezing up because,
It's too late to freeze up now. The crash is already done with. You came on afterwards. It's not like you were in the crash. If he freezes up, I understand. He hit a building. You did not.
Of course I'm going to freeze up and be calm and collected and speak softly when a cop comes up to me and gets aggravated because there's a gun on my side and always was there. There's people that get shot all the time for being unarmed with their hands up in the air. Don't want to reach in my pocket and take anything. You crazy? She also goes on to say that she didn't care at all that I had a permit or not to carry a gun. They're primarily upset because I enforced my constitutional rights to keep my mouth shut, and I also had the right to bear arms. I was kind and nice to these officers, and they assaulted me anyway, just because I was standing around. Another thing I wanted to point out is when Shaw goes to unload my firearm, if you look really closely, you can see that it is chambered, and he's pointing it directly at Pan. My firearm will fire with the clip taken out of it. And obviously he doesn't know how to handle this Taurus because he has a really hard time opening something as simple as a slide on a decent budget firearm. Previous to this encounter, I had absolutely no issues with any of these cops. But if I'm going to be arrested just for standing around doing nothing, not even pointing my gun or even touching it, and yet the officer does not even know basic handgun handling techniques, why am I being labeled as a criminal and being thrown in cuffs and thrown in jail as a dangerous person? My initial fears of putting my hands in my pocket is not in vain, especially when the officer says,
Lucky shot.
At what point is it okay for an officer to go around and tell people it's lucky I didn't shoot you for just standing around on a sidewalk? But the real story goes much deeper than that. This is just not an egotistical cop that wants to ruin someone's day just because they're upset. There is a corruption under this as well. The fact that both of the officers' reports lie completely about what actually happened, according to their video. The missing body cam footage that I didn't receive immediately, and to this day is still missing. And the fact that the prosecution has seen my evidence and they still are trying to pursue it and do criminal charges and make it go to trial. It's not dropped. But something that would have caused this to not happen at all and everything to be completely avoided is if the officer just would have allowed me to roll it downhill and park it, or give me a chance to move it on my own. As you can see here, the tow truck driver had no problem getting it moving, but I wasn't even given the time of day to explain my case, and he is supposed to be an officer, he's supposed to keep the peace, and he hasn't done any of that. He caused more of a problem than anything else. The rest of the video is basically me sitting down and being consistently badgered by the other officer for what I should have done, and I didn't get it word in edgewise. As I said before, I'll release the entire video later, the long drawn out hour and something minute long censored version of the video, but this version is just to illustrate what exactly happened. As I said before, I'm putting myself at an incredibly considerable risk by even making this video. I'll be targeted, I'll be harassed, I'll be hunted down. My identity will be found, and I won't ever hear the end of it. I'll probably have to leave the entire county or even the state. And if the prosecution has their way, then I'll be labeled a criminal and thrown in jail for up to 180 days for standing around on the sidewalk. This is still going on, and I'm still going to trial because of it. During the creation of this video, I received some additional evidence, a screenshot taken by Pete Shaw's body camera. This clearly shows he knew my gun was on me, and yet all legal issues remain unchanged. Both of the houses of Ohio thought this law was so ridiculous that they have actually passed to get rid of it already. House Bill 142 shows passed, but the prosecution is still pursuing criminal charges instead of minor misdemeanor charges, which is essentially a $25 fee. I truly wish none of this would have never happened, and I truly wish that I wouldn't feel this way about police as I do now. But if it happens to me, then it's going to happen to someone else. And if that officer comes against someone else less passive than me, he probably would shoot him. Because of the extreme severity of this event, I'm asking for any support that anyone can help out there. If you want to help, if you want to reach out to me, if you want to know any other information, feel free to contact me on the screen. And without further ado, I'll show you the rest of the video, where I'm basically nagged at by an officer for a long time.
Just chimed on radio that CC.
He really is a good guy. He helps me out a lot.
Okay.
Fine,
What's a good-
he just
what's a good
needs
phone
to
number for you?
understand where we're coming from instead of wanting to argue.
What's a good phone number for you?
Unit 39.
James, this is your citation, okay, for failure to control. Single car, okay, you just lost a little control, no big deal, minor misdemeanor. If you want to go to court, you don't have to, but if you want to, it'll be on the 30th of this month at 9 a.m. at the Chilliwack Municipal Court, okay? If you don't want to, you can go down there before that date, or on that date, and start payments, or just pay the fine, okay? Sign across the side here, sign admission to guilt, saying that you get a copy of the stand was read to you. If you have insurance or find insurance later, take that with you when you take care of the citation, okay?
So annoying when somebody shows up with names on it, because it was concealed to begin with, and they didn't tell me when I asked. Yeah, but how much is this going to cost me?
I don't know exactly how much it's going to be. If you call down to the number be on the back, and if you call, give them that number, they can tell you how much it's going to be. Okay? Yeah. So you understand the responsibility you have when you carry. Okay. We have pretty lenient gun laws. Okay. Okay. Well, it's open carry after the fact. It was concealed when you came up here. Okay. All right. Well, I'm not gonna argue with you. Regardless, you have a gun on your side. We asked you for a permit. You start arguing with us. Okay. 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 So.
I'm freezing up because
okay.
I don't do well with law enforcement.
Well, that's clear to me, but you are carrying a weapon. Okay? So you have a responsibility as a regular civilian. You have a responsibility, okay, to identify with your permit, okay? And not if you're carrying concealed, that's fine. You have a permit. Just tell us.
You said, "Do I have a permit for that?" And I said, "Yes."
You have to show us.
You have it. You've seen it.
Now we've seen it, but we had to go through all this to get to that point. What I'm saying is, you're going to be a citizen that carries. That's fine. You have to comply with law enforcement, whether you like us or not. You have to comply with us.
I didn't like you. I'd say freeze up around you guys.
Okay, freeze up around us, whatever. You have to comply with us. When we ask you for something, just give it to us. We don't want to do this.
I've seen people get shot before.
And we don't want to shoot you. And we don't want to shoot you. That's fine. That's fine. But we don't want to shoot you either.
He said, and I quote, and I'll pull your body cameras for it.
You're lucky to not be shot.
I didn't get shot for standing around.
No. For having the gun.
I didn't my hands in my pocket if you guys are already gunned over.
Don't you? Listen, I don't know how you communicate, but don't you think it would have been easy to say, "Sir, it's in my pocket. I'm not going to reach for it. If you're okay, I'll grab it so I can identify with my permit." You could have kept your gun. You wouldn't be in cuffs right now.
There's no reason for me to be in cuffs right now.
Okay. Then you don't understand. Then you're not going to understand. You need to understand that to be carrying. So you need to probably go back and do some recertification to understand the law and why you need to comply being a carrying civilian. You need to figure that out. That does not suffice. You have to show it to us. And if you come up concealed, which you say it's not, that's whatever. I didn't see it. He didn't see it. It was concealed when you walked up here. So when you came up concealed, all you have to do is identify, "Sir, I'm carrying my weapon on me. I have a permit." Period. End of story. We are not here to take away your gun. We don't want to fight you. We don't want to deal with all that stuff. But we have to protect ourselves and protect all these people who are standing around because of this crash. We don't know that. We don't know you. And then you get all. That doesn't mean anything. You know how many people have concealed license who are not honest people? I don't say. Well, okay. Well, you're detained right now, and you're not understanding. You don't want to listen. You're not understanding. Once he gets back here, we'll talk about it. But you are not understanding anything. I don't get what the complication is, or why you just don't understand why you needed to comply. Being a concealed carry citizen of this country, you don't understand why you need to comply with law enforcement?
I didn't say I didn't want to comply. I said I froze up.
Sorry. Yeah, you got that friend. Okay. Well, you froze up too long, and you still could explain, "Sir, it's in my pocket. I don't want to reach."
That's what I was thinking. I just couldn't.
You gotta say it. You gotta say it. Okay. You need to be able to communicate that because you're a carrying citizen. You have to communicate all that stuff. If you happen to use your concealed weapon on somebody, you have to articulate, communicate why you had to use it, why you feared that you needed to use your weapon, right? So if you freeze up, they're going to think that you just came out of nowhere and shot somebody. Okay? Okay, well that's the same thing. That's the same thing here. You need to explain and talk. Okay, well, once he gets back here, we'll figure it out, okay? Yes?
I think both of us are suffering from severe shock due to
That's fine. That's fine, but he had a gun.
Yeah.
He is a witness.
That's fine. Are you getting a citation right now?
I'm in the handcuffs.
Okay. Well, if you have an issue, you can call. That's my sergeant. You can talk to him.
Please get me out of my handcuffs.
You can get out of your handcuffs once he gets down here. The law you broke is you did not identify with your permit, and your gun was concealed. Okay.
I have 24 hours to show proof.
All right.
You could have asked for my name and social security, which you could have used to validate my permit.
Okay.
Not ask for my name.
All right. I'm not gonna argue with you. All right. So you should understand where I'm coming from. If you don't, that's up to you.
Where I'm coming from for someone that's in shock, seeing my truck destroyed.
It's a truck. You weren't in the crash.
But my truck
That's not a good enough excuse for me. That's not a good enough excuse.
people experience shock.
That's true. Everybody experiences everything in different ways.
Sure, if you're in shock.
Okay, but you being in shock with a concealed carry, you need to be able to talk. Okay, if you can't talk, that means that you are under disability carrying a weapon, right? You got to be able to communicate that you have a concealed carry. If you can't do that, then you probably shouldn't be carrying a gun.
Alright. Gotta figure out how I'm gonna get in here with all this traffic.
Yep. Once we figure out this dude, I'll block down there and make them turn down the alley and co-block right here at Paint. So give us a second.
Alright.
He doesn't understand that when you carry a gun and we ask you for identification, you give it and you don't just freaking freeze up or whatever. So once we get to that, we'll get him moving along and we'll get the truck out of here. You hold that for him?
Yeah.
Thank you. I don't want it blown away or fallen. That's his truck, so that's okay if you're okay with doing that.
Literally down the road like half a mile.
No. He's a valid driver. The other guy was driving. James right here was driving. He's a valid driver and everything. He's got valid
You
stuff.
probably should have my insurance information if the AAA card is the same as that insurance card. If their accounts are linked together, it's the same.
If they are, you got to call down there and give me that insurance information. If not, you're going to get dinged by the state, and you'll lose your license.
My wallet should have AAA information, but like I said, I'm not sure if it's the exact same thing. I had a motorcycle accident, I think, a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
Down this road, and that's what the only thing you guys need. But like I said, it's not the same as
Are you the guy with the website?
the webpage.
You got a webpage?
You've seen my YouTube videos.
I've seen you. Yeah, I've seen you. That's why you're all shaky around law enforcement. No wonder.
Yeah.
That's all good. But whatever your insurance is, I don't think AAA does. Do they do it? They don't do car insurance.
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah, they just do like towing and all that stuff. So you need to get your insurance card, and I need to know the company and the policy number. If not, you'll get dinged by the state. I'm just letting you know now. They'll take your license.
I did it by the AAA build. Like, I went and did all my insurance at the AAA lady at the AAA building, so I'm not sure if they do
It might be third party. Like she does it in the building, but it might be a different company.
I like she's gonna block. You guys are gonna block all the traffic. She said.
Yeah, because there won't be heavy through here.
M1, CCW on here.
Okay. All right. Sounds like you're taking a ride.
What did you?
CCW violation. Stand up here.
Show your permit when I asked you.
Stand up here.
My pants are falling down.
Okay.
The law requires you to immediately surrender your permit.
Put him on the passenger side there. Are you okay with him taking all this stuff of yours? You okay with him taking all that?
Yeah.
You want your phone for when you get out?
Yeah, that's probably a good thing.
What else do you want?
Just my phone, I guess.
Okay. Alright.
I'm sorry, dude. I didn't mean to have this happen to you.
I think it's just a magnet.
Six foot.
There you go. Alright, have a seat.
Really fun game.
Do you have a ride coming?
He was my ride.
Can you call somebody else? Get you a ride?
Oh my God,
Well,
it's
he was
horrible.
carrying a gun.
Okay.
He didn't
I
show it to
called
me.
them. Okay, and
He
see if they
pulled
come
up
get
his
you.
britches. I saw a gun.
You live at-
Man, you were carrying it.
Are you guys going to be able to pay him for the tow?
I said, oh.
If not, he's going to have to tow it to his yard.
Well, he said he's a permit holder, but he's supposed to
And then
show
you
it
guys
to
He
us.
would be
get it.
able to, but I don't have
That'd
any
be fun.
money. AAA, but
Okay.
I have like barely $10.
Is he wanting to pay? You wanting to pay for this tow to be?
They have AAA insurance. It should come right out of that.
Well, it takes a while. How does AAA work with that?
They usually just call in. We gotta get the call.
Well, your boss told me that we don't need to call
No, you're going to jail.
AAA. They just round back the
Oh,
request.
the first
He
degree.
submits the
It's a
request
misdemeanor
later.
in first degree.
He called and told me that.
So carry
yeah, I don't know.
violation.
Like a couple
Okay.
months or so ago.
All right. You do, but you have requirements that you have to do as well. All right, I'm not talking about that. I just want to know about the car. You going to tow it? You want to pay for it or not?
Well,
Because AAA takes a little bit. You got to call people. It doesn't just come right out. You got to call people, and they got to do it through Columbus, and comes back down to them.
Well, hang on. I just explained something to him. Mr. Best, the guy that owns this tow truck company, called me myself a couple months ago and said that he's a AAA tow truck company, so we call him in advance, get them here. That way we don't have to wait forever. Then he submits paperwork later. He submits requests later from AAA if you have it. Okay, so he'll take it.
To his tow yard.
Nope. And then, well, you don't need to take it to his tow yard, but
We're trying to get.
yeah,
That's what I'm talking about.
that's
it's
fine.
like literally just a mile down the road. I
Okay.
Yeah, this is down here.
Okay. He'll take it.
pay for it. Why am I under arrest?
Because you failed to show me your permit.
I was afraid to go for my
Okay.
I was seriously afraid. I mean, we really don't need to press charges. I'm in shock because of my drug being destroyed. I really
We got a conversation about that too. You got a responsibility when you have a concealed carry. Okay.
You have a huge responsibility when you're carrying that gun, just like I do.
I told you I had one. I came back valid. There's really no reason to do this.
All right. Put your knee in there.
Put your hand in there.
Okay. Are you gonna? Is this card in here?
You liked that, didn't you? Well, there's more on Patreon. There will be things that can only be seen by supporters. Go to patreon.com/ShadowDragon.
If you want to be a part of the action and reach out to us, you can come join us on our Discord channel. All you have to do is go to shadowfoot.net and click on the Discord button.
County, this is Charlotte County COPWATCH, and I wanted to explain what fair use is. You can use pieces of news articles if you're doing it for news reporting, you have commentary, and you're doing it for education purposes. So that's what fair use is, as you can see right here. Another reason why I wanted to make this video is to let you know I have just joined with Patreon. A nice thing with Patreon, I make no money on YouTube. They took the money away years ago, and so this is another way to give, and it's a nice thing too because you can give monthly. You can give $1, $5, $10, whatever. I do 4 to 5 hours a day on trying to wake the sheeple up on how corrupt it is and different ways that you can fight the corruption. So Patreon is a way that you can do it, and then of course the old way is still there. Donate to Sheriff County COPWATCH with PayPal or credit card. So keep that in mind. 4 to 5 hours a day. I make no money, but the corruption happened to me and I'm sick of it, so I'm trying to wake people up. But my wife would love it if if we could get some help out there. There's 47,000 subscribers. Just think if each one of you subscribers just gave a, let's say, actually, yes, $1 a month. 47,000 subscribers gave $1 a month. That would be awesome. That's not going to happen. But anyways, that would be great if it did happen. But you know, do the math in your head. Just think about it. Like I said, 4 to 5 hours a day. I get no money from YouTube. YouTube has gone nuts. You can't do anything anymore. They're taking the money away everywhere. So these are a couple different ways that you can still help out with all this time that I put in. And as you know, I'm in a special situation where, you know, at least I can do it. You know, 4 to 5 hours a day. We have a cleaning company during the day. That's what allows me to do this, and we're debt free. So this is my hobby. I don't go fishing and all that other crap. I try to save the world. So help me out to make the wife happy, man. In fact, if you guys did give $1 a day, and there was 47,000 of you, and you did it, and each of you gave $1, and that was every month, oh my God, yes, I could quit. I could start suing them. Another idea too that we have is, you know, if I got, you know, some funds, we could actually contact everyone that has been ticketed and or arrested and put in jail and start sending them postcards to let them know we're here, and to see if everything went all right, and if it didn't, find out their story. So we could even do more investigations and more lawsuits. Lawsuits take money. So just think about that. You know, 47,000 of you so far right now. You know, $1 a day. I mean, $1 a month on Patreon, or $5 a month Patreon, 10, 20, whatever. Just do the math in your head. Help out. This is a lot of work every single day. Thanks.